Hi and welcome to this week's podcast. I'm Mod Matt He, and we're here to talk today about boss practice mode with...
I'm Mod Harrison.
And I'm Mod Grissell.
So, just for those who are unfamiliar with you, which should be very few of our listeners, but just in case, who are you? What do you do here at Jagex?
I work in RuneScape QA in Retention 1.
Is that it?
Yep.
I'm Mod Grissell, and I've made plenty of stuff in the past, mainly bosses I'm known for, and stuff like Dungeoneering, Slayer, and too much stuff to go on about now, but yeah. Bosses seem to be my curse, they always end up being made.
So, does Retention 1 have a cool, in inverted commas, name? Because obviously Retention 2 has the Guardians.
And yeah, you got RS-DOS. No, we're still working on it. What have we come up with so far? We had the Nameless at one point, but then, I don't know.
Agree on them, so.
Yeah.
Because hasn't Mod Dean threatened to name your team for you if you don't?
Yeah, it's something that comes up pretty much every week. We're still working on one. I think we're sort of thinking about our projects right now. We're Team Tusker for a bit, and then Scrum 1 and only, and they're Nameless, but I don't know. Answers on the back of a postcard for that.
Or maybe to your Twitters?
Yeah, definitely.
So you are...
at Jagex Grissell, yeah.
I'm at Jagex Harrison.
Yep.
Brilliant. So send your recommendations for team names.
Within reason.
Yes, within reason. Rude ones need not apply.
Well, can't guarantee they'll be picked.
So, boss practice mode. What is it?
It's a mode, right, where you can practice bosses.
Really? Are you sure?
The clues in the title.
You'll say it's what it says on the tin?
It is, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So how's that work?
Right, so basically we standardised all of the bosses in the game so they can all fire from the same system, so it's nice and consistent. You go to one boss, you go to another boss, they all have the same sort of introduction, so you know what you're getting. And the new bit is the practice mode. So we've got a little tick box, and you click, basically, I want to practice this boss, which means it goes into the boss encounter, but it's a custom sort of scenario where death doesn't have a penalty. So obviously you've got the inconvenience of dying goes away, essentially. You can just go straight back in and have another go. You do lose any supplies you've used and like any minor armor degradation.
Yeah.
But like as far as like losing your items go completely and running back to your grave and restocking your bob, all that stuff is gone with practice mode. You can just go straight back in if you want.
So it's a PVM version of the safe world safe PvP almost. You lose your supplies but none of your gear.
Yeah, exactly. So cool. If you only lose a few shark or rocktail and then you die, you've probably got enough inventory to have another go and see how far you can get before you actually need to restock. And it's also free, worth mentioning.
Cool. So how are those practice mode instances different?
They're not different in any way. It's just when you kill the boss, you won't get any XP or drops. You just get the satisfaction of knowing that you can do it.
Yeah.
So it's designed to practice on.
Yeah, it's designed
pretty much really like it says on the tin.
Rinse and repeat.
You can even practice in groups as well. Like, so if Harrison makes a practice instance, I can join his and we can practice together. If we've never fought the boss, and like Harry says, when they die, we can celebrate with our no XP and no drops, and then maybe take on the real thing. So
no XP, no drops. Do kills count towards Slayer or Soul Reaper assignments?
We had to take all that out as well. Yeah. However,
that stuff counts.
Yeah, one of the good QA things, Harry, you remember when
took me forever to work out why, but I was killing Dagnoth Kings and I kept getting XP.
Right.
And I didn't know why. Mode. And I was using a save of my own account and I had a Dagnoth task, so it was giving me Slayer XP.
I was at his desk, he's like, Chris, it's broken, it's not working, I'm getting XP, and I'm like, no, it's definitely got to be working. And then I was like, check Slayer, and you're like, no way, and then Slayer was going up, we're like, yeah, alright, we've got to turn Slayer XP off as well.
All the tasks I could have had.
Yeah, no, that was a very good coincidence. I'm sure it was planned QA, right?
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Yeah,
that was part of the test metric. Yeah. And hard mode fights, can you attempt them in practice mode?
You can't attempt them in practice mode. It'd be pretty straightforward to allow that, to be honest.
Right.
But we thought, at least going in, we won't, because of the whole, like, it's meant to be people that aren't even touching these bosses. Like, if you dare not even attempt, like, a Raxor, well, no, that's a bad example, it didn't have a hard mode. Let's just say Gridor. Or Virago, yeah. So you've never done it, you want to have a go at it, it's like, you're learning to do Virago. If you can kill Virago, maybe you're strong enough to, we wanted the hard mode to be more risky going in. However, if it's like universally wanted, it's not something we're not opposed to doing.
Yeah.
We could allow it. It's just we're mainly thinking about the people that don't even boss at all and they want to get in. So hard mode's a bit of a...
So what our reason for introducing practice mode is to allow those people that have a barrier almost of fear, perhaps, trepidation, certainly.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I mean, RuneScape's got a pretty harsh death penalty as far as games go nowadays.
Yeah.
And like the whole, if you've... if you're not like a strong combatant and it's not your strong suit, it might be one of those. It's, some people just aren't comfortable in that environment, and
it's
if they
thing,
exactly, and you go with a group of Harry's friends, and they're only going to accept the best of the best. Which is why they don't let him in. That's why you go to practice mode to learn to get in these groups rather than being blanked in the first place. You can say, "Oh, I know how to do it."
Yeah.
And then hopefully they'll take you.
Okay.
There's
also a beast interface as well.
So you can get on the beast interface. If you click the quest icon, it's the further in tab. Or when you actually get to the boss, you can click the little image and it'll open up that tab for you.
Right.
And there's a learn button there now, so you can click on that and it will display a load of tactics that we've listed. With a little icon next to it, so you can click that as well. And the NPC will animate based on the attack you've clicked, and it'll show you what to expect. So you could read through all those before the fight, and then when you go in, you know what to expect.
So it gives you a better idea of what kind of thing you'll be facing.
Yeah,
that's like the super safe. Like you don't even want to go to God Wars to click on the door, so you sit in the comfort of a bank and see what these animations are going to look like.
While you're skilling and chilling.
Yeah, maybe
reading up on it.
Yeah.
Cool. So it's a perfect place to get your practice in and to learn how the bosses work. I understand there are a number of other boss instance improvements that were included as part of the same scheme?
Yeah.
Same project?
So like I touched on at the start, it used to, before this update, the system was there, not as great if I say so myself, but you had to click box after box. It's like, you want to make a new boss? How many people do you want? What's their combat level have to be? Do you need a pin for protection? Is it friends only? So that you were bombarded with question after question after question, and finally you got into the boss.
Yeah.
Even though that was only 6 boxes, it's just like, just let me in. I've clicked on the entrance, I want to go in.
Yeah.
So the major change was making this a nice interface, which again is across all of the bosses that use this system. So I click on the entrance to Virago. I'm like, I want to make my own session. Interface pops up. A lovely big picture of the boss, so your new player accidentally stumbles across this cave. He's like, oh, probably don't want to go in there.
Yeah.
But then you've got the button that Harry said. You can click on it to go for more information, or you can use the instant interface just to be like, I want 20 people, my combat level, friends only, go in. And then those settings are also saved. So if I go to a different boss, it automatically uses those settings if they're still applicable. So it's just a really streamlining of the whole thing.
And I hear there's a magical rejoin button as well.
Oh, yeah.
The almighty rejoin button. So if you make an instance now, I think people have asked for it for quite a while.
Yeah.
So if you had an instance previously in that same boss type, you can just click rejoin and it will go back into that, or it'll launch a new instance for you and give you the remaining time that you had left, so you don't have to make a new instance and spend loads of money. So that's pretty convenient.
Yeah. Very good for like Araxor fighters that teleport out, instance collapses, they just go back, hit rejoin. If they've got more than 10 minutes left on their old one, lets them back in.
And for those more experienced players, I understand there's some rewards if they help new players?
Oh, yeah. God, do you want to try and explain that nicely?
So the guy near the combat dummies in Lumbridge, if you talk to him, he'll show you some rewards that he's willing to offer.
Right.
If you help train some lower level people.
Okay.
It'll count to, so if a lower level player has less than 10 kills in the boss, and you take him with you to go fight it, it'll work until past 10 kills where you get a noob point, and you can build up noob points and unlock rewards like a mortarboard, head unlock, a title which I forget the name of.
The Master
title, and you can get a cool owl pet called Cornelius, which
he loves.
Scrum favourite.
But yeah, so that system, sorry, just to make sure it's clear, is that's like the idea that you know how to do practice mode. You've killed your first general Grador because you're hardcore, and now you want to go with a group, and they're still not letting you in. But this is because they're like, people get quite elitist about it. This is like a nice system that hopefully helps. You've never been to Grador before, so your kill count is actually 0. Whereas me and Harry do it all day, every day. If we bring you, exactly. So if we bring you, it's like an idea that you come into the boss, you get to sit in a live environment with a group, so it's still a bit safe. And then when the boss gets killed, if you're one of the people that helped contribute towards that kill, everyone with over 10 kills, like me and Harry in that example, would get a noob point. You wouldn't get one, but you get a kill. And then eventually you would get 10 and you'd start being a pro and not a noob. And then the idea is these points, they have threshold unlocks. And that's on all bosses. So like, if everyone in the entire world has 10 kills on Grador, you go Court Beast or Chaos Elemental, that sort of thing.
Okay. That's brilliant. Yeah, so real encouragement to get new players involved.
It's not force, it's just,
it's encouragement.
If new players are with you, you'll get a little reward helping them out.
So which bosses are included in the practice mode then?
Should we have a rally? Let's have a back and forth, see if we can get them all.
Right.
Go on then.
So Virago's.
Araxor.
God Wars.
Oh, that's cheap. You can't say all 4. Okay. Calfight Queen, Calfight King.
Exiled Calfight Queen.
Oh yeah, we know that one. I know we're missing some. What boss did they make? Rise of the Six?
Next.
Oh, you're on it. I think that's it.
Yeah,
we're probably missing them. Basically,
KBD?
everything. Oh yeah, KBD, well done. Oh, Dagon of Kings.
Yeah, Dagon of Kings as well.
That was added. Court Beast was added. I think basically every boss that isn't currently in the safe environment, like we didn't do it on the Kiln or Jad because they're already instances.
Yeah.
And when you die, it's already safe, and it's sort of a mini game anyway.
QBD?
Oh, QBD, yeah.
QBD's
That was
practice,
instance,
yeah.
but we brought it over to the system. Yeah,
I got one.
You won. I think you won. I think that was the
Nice.
last one. I think that's it. Yeah, the other ones, Legionnaires were discussed, but they have a Slayer thing which we've decided to park for now.
Okay.
And the other ones we didn't put on because they're in world.
area, yeah.
Yeah, so the Corp, the Chaos Elemental is wandering the wilderness. He's not in a boss room, so it's not like you walk close to him and it's like, oh, do you want to make an instance of the wilderness?
Yeah.
So I mean, in the future there might be some sort of support. We could have him in another place. Maybe you can fire a practice mode only instance for him, but for now we're just trying to keep it simple.
So how are we going to treat new bosses when new bosses come out?
Great question. I think our current plan, we're definitely not going to put them on practice mode, I believe, and we're definitely not going to release tactics for about 2 weeks to a month. That's not locked down, but the idea is they'll be on the system to instance if applicable.
Yeah.
But there will be no practicing. So the people that throw themselves at it, I think that's part of the enjoyment of bosses. We don't want to take that away.
Yeah.
On day one, people go in and they're like, no risking
practice
it.
and
I think part of it
let
is
people
scoring the first kill and
let players do the exploratory bit and work it all out, and then we can start practice mode afterwards.
And from what we've gathered, players love doing that. Like they love being the first to try and figure out what exactly is going on in this boss fight. Forum threads, like remember when Araxor was out, that bounce and acidic wave at the end. And there's so many myths around that for like a good week or two, and everyone was like, "Oh, you run around and stand and do abilities while waving, shaking hands or whatever." So it could be anything, and that's kind of the fun of it is when they lock it down how to actually take it on. Then you get your experts sort of proing out and sharing it. It's a very good community aspect of bossing.
Yeah, you've got to dance a jig while giving your mate your
exactly. Exactly. And drop all your arms on forward plus alt F4.
Okay, so there's been some questions come back. So why are we making practice safe? Obviously, some players think that devising the strategies and tactics are an essential part of the game. Why are we including a practice mode?
It was kind of requested quite a lot, I guess. A lot of people just had this strong barrier where they're not going anywhere near that boss because what if something happens where I can't get back to my grave, or I don't know what I'm doing at all and I panic, that kind of thing. So yeah, a lot of people just had that fear. So.
Yeah, I suppose it opens up bosses outside of practice mode eventually for those players who just wouldn't otherwise have gone near them.
I think that is the
accessible.
underlying point. Yeah, it's just the whole, just helping people to get into it. I can see how people might have viewed this as like, oh, it's easy mode sort of update, but realistically, we're not letting them into the real fight. Like they're not really getting any rewards from it, so to speak.
Yeah,
it's just experience, and for the most part, most people might think it is like helping those easy mode up, but the fact is, from what we've gathered from player feedback from years ago, I mean, a guy spoke to me really in depth about this at the first RuneFest, I remember. It's just like they just need that leg up to get into bosses. Like they're not, like it's that comfortable, that risk, and they need that leg up. And for everyone else, they don't care. Just don't take the button, go into the normal instance, So we're not taking anything away from the real fight. It wasn't really a massive change to even make this stuff work for practice mode.
Okay.
Other than QA, I guess.
And why have we revealed special attacks in the beast interface? There's been some discussion of the fact that we've detailed some.
Oh, that's interesting. Personally, I try not to go into a massive amount of detail on there, and people have critiqued that and put forum threads up of every little number that is wrong or whatever.
Yes,
We'll get to that, I'm sure.
There's some detailed on spelling and grammar as well. I understand.
Well, I wrote it all in like half a day in one sitting, and it was a lot of text. And it was. I wasn't expecting to be that much into it, but I guess so. And we're already fixing that for the next update, I think, as well. You guys are working through the various bits and pieces.
Yeah.
But I think the same sort of reason is just like practice mode isn't meant to be about learning the boss as if it's day one and trying to figure out what the attacks are. I think it's more of you want to practice, you want to know what you're facing. That's the whole idea of like, it's not about facing the unknown, it's about facing the known. So if you read about the attacks, when you see them in situ in practice mode, you're like, oh, that's, Cocoon, I have an idea what to do because I read it on the interface.
Yeah.
And at that point you're dead. But, the idea is it's just a preparation. And again, the information's there if you need it.
And that information is outside of the game anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
You can go to the wikis or various guides on fan sites. And
they'll probably always be in more depth. Like I try to avoid putting specific damage values. Like, it will hit you with melee, it will hit you after 10 seconds, you don't want to be near it, that sort of thing. But we're trying to keep it sort of, we're not trying to avoid spoilers, it's just trying to be like very clear, sort of like this is what you can expect, and then when you see it you're like, oh, that's what I was expecting. But if you want like the breakdown of numbers and ultimate tactics, we're not telling you how to fight the boss, we're telling you what the boss can do to you. And if you go to guides, they're going to be like, you know, stand here, rotate here, do the jig, that sort of thing. So there's always more detail elsewhere.
So there's been some questions about spawn rates as well, and things like the Chaos Elemental, that some of the spawn rates are quite slow.
Yeah, well, I guess the Chaos Elemental wasn't really touched by this update, was he?
Yeah, people have said like Chaos Elemental, King Black Dragon and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
you can control the speed in the new instances. There is the fastest option. I think we enabled it for...
Yeah, for the most part.
You were about Dagon Kings the other day, weren't you?
Yeah, Dagon Kings on fastest is crazy. Like, you can just about keep up. But yeah, I guess some of them, like Chaos Elemental, you quick up, because that's what people do.
Yeah, if it's a massive problem, we could always increase the base spawn rate. It's not a big problem, but it's just case by case, really.
So noob points. How can I check my noob points?
There's a person in...
I wish I could remember his name.
Harlan or something.
I was going to say Harlan.
Yeah,
Harlan. He's
He's at the dummies at Lumbridge, where the Combat Academy is.
Yeah.
He's got a right-click option. You can talk to him. He's got some interesting text. And he's got a lovely interface, which he'll show you, and a lovely progress bar that Chris spent.
Yeah, it's literally just
forever.
Progress bar.
But that will tell you how many points you've got.
Yeah, how many points you've got.
They
and
never
what
go
you
down.
need to earn.
Yeah, you don't spend them. It's not like a currency. It's just like it's like a threshold. So like, what is it? The one's like 50 points. Is it the
like,
first one?
50 points for the mortarboard,
250, 500.
250 for the master title, and 500 for the owl.
Yes, it's more like a threshold. When you got 50, you'll get a message. It will unlock. You don't even need to go back to him because you get a message when you unlock it. But obviously, if you want to see where you currently are, then by all means visit him.
Brilliant. And on hard mode, do we gain more points?
The new points. At the moment, no, it's completely the same regardless. It's just it's a universal system. We could do more for hard mode, but the idea is, you know, we're mainly focusing on the normal modes to get those people from practice mode to normal mode.
Yeah, exactly.
Not jumping straight to hard mode. But I mean, we could look at it, I guess. If there's enough demand, it seems quite a niche bet.
Obviously, there's lots of feedback on forums, so if people want to feed back to you, where's best to talk to you?
They're already doing the right place. By all means, plug our Twitters from earlier, but yeah, this forum thread's... do you know what the one Raman's looking at, Kyle? He's all over the forums. Post a forum thread up, we'll find it, because Kyle is going through them and fixing all typos, grammars, my fails, his fails. If you read it the first time, wouldn't be a problem. But, yeah, no, we're all over that sort of stuff, and there'll probably be quite a large update to that sort of typo, grammar. We'll be all over
little
that
tweaks
next week.
that we need to make.
Yeah, that should be sorted.
Brilliant. Well, it's been really well received, and thanks for coming along today.
Yeah, no worries.
Bye.
Bye.